In a crowded hospital corridor in Mumbai, the sharp smell of antiseptic hung in the air, mingling with the stench of sweat and hopelessness. Dr. Alina Kapoor had just completed a 48-hour shift. Her hands trembled from fatigue, but her spirit was unshaken. Saving lives was her purpose. Healing was her vow. Yet, on that gray morning, it was not a patient who would change her life. It was a stranger on the sidewalk. Outside the hospital, leaning against a rusted pole, was a man in his late 20s, cigarette in hand, mascara smudged beneath tired eyes. He wore a red chiffon scarf, lipstick faded like an old promise. His name was Rafiq, but the street knew him as Maya, a prostitute, born to be ignored. But not by Alina. She saw something in him, something fragile and unspoken. They talked. A few minutes stretched into hours over weeks. Rafiq's sarcasm masked a brutal life: abuse, rejection, survival through selling what the world thought he shouldn't own, his body, his dignity. But he had a mind that sparkled when he spoke of books, a heart that broke when stray dogs limped by, and hands that trembled when Alina held them. One rainy night, she asked him to marry her. It wasn't a joke. Society gasped. Her parents disowned her. Rafiq laughed until he cried, but she didn't flinch. "You are a human being. That's enough for me." So they married, a doctor and a former prostitute. But love is not a fairy tale. The years that followed tested every fragile seam of their relationship. Rafiq struggled to adjust. People spat at him, laughed behind his back. He tried to get respectable work but was rejected endlessly. His trauma took over. He lashed out. And sometimes, in his spirals, he hurt Alina. She stayed silent for too long. One morning, a patient noticed the bruises. The whispers grew. Alina's reputation began to crack under judgment and confusion. People asked, "Why stay?" Even she couldn't answer anymore. It was her nose that first betrayed her despair, an odd metaphor. A rare hormonal condition made it grow visibly, slowly, over months. She hated mirrors. Not for the nose, but for the tired woman staring back. The one who gave everything and now felt hollow. One evening, Rafiq came home to find her sitting on the floor of the kitchen, staring at a broken teacup like it had all the answers. "I don't know who I am anymore," she said softly. Rafiq dropped to his knees. "I do. You're the woman who picked a broken man off the sidewalk and gave him a name, a life, a home. I never earned your love, and I destroyed it." That night changed him. He sought therapy, not just for her, but for himself. He stopped hiding behind makeup and started facing the mirror. With Alina's help, he found work with an NGO that supported trans and marginalized communities. He taught kids to read, helped others find shelter, and used his pain as a bridge to healing. Their love transformed from chaos into quiet courage. 1 year later, they stood together at a conference in New York. Alina, nose healed by surgery but spirit stronger than steel, told their story. She spoke of kindness, dignity, and the decision to see a human being instead of a label. When she finished, silence fell. Then, applause. Long, loud, real. A woman from the audience asked, "How did you know he could change?" Alina smiled. "I didn't, but I believed he was worth the chance." The heart is not a courtroom. It's a sanctuary. This story, with all its bruises and healing, became more than a tale of love. It became a reminder. No one is the sum of their worst moments. Everyone deserves a second chance. And sometimes, the people we save end up saving us right back.